Yeah. So guys, we'll take a short commercial break, but we're coming back with this conversation and I'll tell you all about what he's done. We'll even see snippets of the productions that he's actually been... You've done so much. How do you do it? When do you sleep?
I think I've been at this for almost 15 years now, so it doesn't seem like it, but we've just been at it for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's like a show a year.
Oh, look at that. Is that a flex? All right, guys, coming back with this conversation. Don't go away. All right. Karibu.
Kila kiongozi ana hadithi yake ya kipekee.
Wazazi wangu walikuwa bit strict kwa sababu mamangu mwenyewe, mimi kutoka kuzaliwa sijailala nje.
The white small one, huyo ana sniff gunpowder na risasi na bomb. Alafu huyo mwingine ni ridgeback ana sniff simba.
Even the employees knows that. So when in the boardroom is the chairman, the CEO. And the rest of...
What point are you a wife?
The minute you get to that, inside that door, you become now the wife.
Na kila maamuzi wanayoyafanya hufichua mengi kuhusu utu wao na uongozi wao.
We see God blessing us, and we now realize the power of giving also has to be rewarded back.
Kupitia kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi, tunakuletea mahojiano ya kusisimua na uchambuzi wa kina kuhusu viongozi wetu.
Pick your core business as the bigger stones. Put them in your diary first. Give priority the bigger things.
Usikose kila Alhamis saa 1:30 jioni.
In a world where challenges are as common as opportunities, there are those who dare to defy the odds. They are the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship isn't just about starting a business, it's about embracing uncertainty, pushing boundaries, and turning dreams into reality.
Hata ambao ni pesa ya kusave, wallahi. Ambao mwaka ni pesa nyingi sana.
As long as you're earning something, there's always that opportunity to save. And you start with where you are.
The way we run the business is in a very unforgiving way, where every team member has to bring out their best.
So, to all the dreamers, innovators, and risk takers out there, remember, being an entrepreneur isn't just
All right, and welcome back to this Friday with me, Betty. Thank you so much for the feedback. Keep it going. Like I mentioned today, of course, we have a great show. Apart from Willis, now we have Eugene Mbugua, and in a few minutes, we'll also be giving a chance to two students from Mount Kenya University to have, a try at reading news. That's coming up. But for now, let's meet this guy. How are you?
I'm very good, Betty. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Eugene, you start your day at 4 a.m. I normally wake up, I see your stories. I'm like, Z. How come? Every single day?
Yeah. Well, on weekdays at least. It's a discipline thing. Running an enterprise, there's a lot that's expected of you.
Yes.
Managing a big team. So I wake up quite early, so I'm able to work out in the morning.
Yes.
Have some time to read and then go through my day.
Every 5 days?
Every 5 days. But sometimes on the bad days, I go back to sleep.
Oh my goodness. So because I see you working out and I know you're very passionate about that.
Yes.
And then you enter the office. So you're like your team, let me not call your staff, yeah? So there's so much pressure for them to get to work early.
Yes and no. So a lot of our meetings start at around 9.
Yes.
Which is okay for most people.
Yes.
But then there's some team members who work later in the evening, but nobody's expected to be there at the same hours as me.
Yes.
And rarely do I start communicating with the rest of the world until around 8-ish.
Yeah, that's the only fair way. That's just justified, yeah. So let's talk about mean, everything that you've done. But, you know, a little is known about, you know, the young Eugene.
Yeah.
You know, we know about the productions, and we'll be showcasing the different ones. The latest being, you know, Real Housewives of Nairobi. Congratulations.
That's fantastic.
The billboards are all over the place, like you can't even miss it. But tell us about the young Eugene.
Yeah.
You know, what kind of a kid were you? What kind of family did you grow up in? How was life? The things that we don't see.
So as a kid, I moved around a lot. So I'm not from anywhere particularly.
Yeah.
I lived
moved around in Kenya or around the world?
In Kenya.
Okay. I was like, I was already like, oh, around the world.
So I lived in Kitale, I lived in Njoro, I lived in Thika, I lived in Donholm, I lived in Zimmerman, I lived in Kasarani.
What?
Yeah. Then eventually when I turned 18, I lived in Roysambu. That's where my life began.
No way.
Yeah, I was in a small bed sitter with a mattress on the floor and a meko.
We don't know. I've never read that about you.
I don't speak about, nobody asks.
Yeah. So, I mean, what kind of, you know, I mean, you have brothers, like, just tell me about just growing up in the family setup.
No, so I'm the only child, and I had a bit of an incident in my childhood, which meant that I was then taken care of by my relatives, which is why I moved around so much. So I lived with whoever would take me in during that time.
No way.
Yeah, so I went to a bunch of schools. Primary school, I think about 4 or 5 different schools. Then high school, I went to Upper Hill School. Then I got into some trouble.
What kind of trouble are you talking about? I'd love to know this trouble, because those are very many schools, honestly.
Yeah, I did. I moved around a lot. And again, you know, in African families, when you're disadvantaged, family members take care of you. So whoever can will take you in for a few years, and then you move on and so on.
Oh my goodness.
So I went to a bunch of schools.
All over the country?
All over the country.
Oh my goodness. It's like you almost covered the 47 counties.
Yes.
And then, so at what point did you feel, okay, first of all, you actually went to, is it University of Nairobi?
Yeah, no, USIU.
USIU?
Yeah, so one of my relatives was kind enough to pay for my tuition in USIU. So I was a part-time student, used to go to class between 5 and 9 p.m. Then on Saturdays. And then during the day, I would work. And I did a bunch of odd jobs up Katikati.
No, wait, you have to tell me about it. So you're going to school, and then when you have time now, you have to do like extra work to be able to provide for yourself. So what kind of jobs were this?
So my first job ever was selling sweaters, Mtumba sweaters. I sold like 2 and one wasn't paid for, so the business collapsed.
So you only had a stock of two sweaters?
A stock of 3.
Yeah, the business clearly. Okay, but
it didn't work. But my first foray in entrepreneurship was when I was in Upper Hill School. There used to be a Ngumu shop. You know Ngumu za Mandazi?
Of course I know Ngumu.
And there was a system there where you could join that Ngumu shop, alafu unalipwa na stock. So you get to eat for breakfast, and then as you work more, you start to have shares in the shop. So I did that for like...
I've never heard of a business
really,
like that.
Really interesting stuff. I've also never heard of it anywhere else. I did that for a while, then I started to sell. I had a friend in school.
So how much would you make from the Ngumu shop?
Eventually, maybe like 60 bob.
Per what? Per day?
Per day, if I remember correctly. But then it used to be split on who wants what.
Yes.
It wasn't a very lucrative business. So I quit soon after. Then in Upper Hill, kuandika barua ilikuwa such a big deal.
Yes.
So I had a friend called Shirima who would then take a plain white envelope, alafu anaichora graffiti.
Yes.
So an envelope which would ideally cost 5 shillings now costs 20 shillings.
Oh, so you profit now because of just the writing.
Last time nilikuwa nazima form 1 na form 2. So ilishika.
So these are letters that are being sent to different girls across...
Yes, it was girls. I remember at the time it was a thing. Alafu kulikuwa na, you know, these were the days of Insider. It was before we had mobile phones in school.
Yeah.
I don't know if
it was so cool.
Yeah, I don't know if they still send each other letters in high school.
No,
that would be interesting.
I don't think there are letters anymore.
PO box,
Yeah. I used to love that so much.
Then you reuse the stamp. Do you know how
and then you
to rub with
spray a
the
bit
toothpaste?
of perfume.
Yeah. Do you know how to reuse a stamp?
No.
So you take used stamps and you rub them off with the stamp with the toothpaste.
Yes.
Then you can resell them again.
And then how does it stick?
So you know the top, how you know a stamp has been used is the post office will stamp on top of it.
Yes.
So what you do is you rub off the post office
you rub off
stamp,
and then you can use it again.
You can reuse it. So nilifanya hiyo biz pia.
Can't believe this. The CEO of DNR did all this. So from sweaters to Ngumu to now the stamps.
Yes.
Jeez. Okay, at what point did you... Okay, when did you elevate?
No, so all that was high school. And, you know, ideally for this is just survival.
Yes,
I think the way my life has been set up, it's always been, I always knew I need to fend for myself. So then I joined university. And even before I joined university, I worked a bunch of odd jobs after high school. I was next door on Inspector Mwala. There's some old episodes that might appear.
No way.
Yeah,
extra.
An extra.
Only to come to do all these other shows.
They used to give you these roles like a truant student. So I did a bunch of those. I wrote for them. I did some episodes. And I was next door on Inspector on Junction as well.
You're always extra. You never got the leading role.
No, not even leading. At lines.
Mtoto kutembea tu hapo tu mahali.
Just a background. Then I graduated to a boom singer. So then I was a boom singer on Machachari. I was a boom swinger on some other shows on KBC called Moose of Gold. So those and then after that I joined university to study TV production.
Yeah.
But during the day I would still work. So then I started to teach basic film. So when we're still doing those odd jobs on film sets, one of my friends Dexter and I, we realized sitting on jokes cut ni action ni kwenda. We could probably teach these to primary school kids.
And then you charge them.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But that was a solid business. So we borrowed some cameras and this, we studied as a program at Makini School.
Okay.
So the same way they have music club and drama club, they had film club.
Yeah.
We'd teach them basic stuff and then we'd shoot some movies with them at the end of the term. Some of them are actually well-known photographers now. Shem Obara is a big guy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was one of my students at the start.
Yeah.
And so I did that for most of my university years. Well, in the evenings, I'll still go to class.
Yeah.
Then when the Mutudo laws came, at the time, everybody in SIU used to drink between classes, go to a bar.
Oh, we don't know that about. We don't know. Disclaimer: that is Eugene's point of view, all right?
Not the channels.
Not the channel.
But I think this is true for most universities.
I don't know.
Then because there were no rules. You see, bars used to be open all day, so the rules are what changed that.
Okay.
So I figured.
Let's not talk about now.
I'm sure now they don't drink at all.
Yeah, they don't drink at all.
They're good people.
Yeah, yeah.
So after the laws came in, all of a sudden students had a lot of free time.
Yes.
So then I set up a video game arcade where we could charge kids by the minute to play video games.
Wow.
And it was a kibanda kabisa. I had 2 screens and an Xbox and a PS. Then that hiyo kashika kidogo nikaanza kuuza zile bootleg movies za 50 bob. Hapo tu nje ya
zile za kuchoma.
Zile za kuchoma. Nilikuwa na hizo mabana unachoma movie kama 20 at the same time.
Yani wazee sisi ni wazee. Okay, wewe ni mzee, okay, sisi ni wazee because those stories, man, they sound so, I'm sure they sound so weird to other people.
Those movies still exist, the 50
No,
bob
they
movies.
don't.
Yeah, because now it's streaming.
Of course you don't. Yeah, they don't. All right, so all these odd jobs, and I know you landed your first show, Young Rich, on a different TV station, and you are 22 years. So
turning to the end of 21, Young Rich, back in the day. And that came about when I was teaching at Makini School.
Yeah.
Because I was living in Resambo then, and I had only enough transport to get to town, and then I'd have to walk uptown. I've told the
struggle.
Story. Yeah.
Bro.
But it didn't feel that way then. Okay. It was just what you had to do.
Yeah, what you had to do.
Yeah, and I've told the story often of how passing through Kilimani and Kile, I could see all these signs that rent 50K. I'm like, who can afford rent of 50K? Then nachunguliwa na Mercedes imeingia. Like, who are these guys? And they look young. So that's where the idea for Young Rich came from. Like I wanted to know what those guys are doing for money.
Yeah.
And that show, I had pitched it around for almost 3 years, and nobody was interested. And then around 2013, around the election, there was some change of ownership amongst the TV channels, and then it was picked up out of serendipity.
After 3 years of struggling to have your show.
Yeah.
All right, so you know what? We'll skip that middle part because I want people to just see the kind of productions that you do. And I'll start with Real Houses of Nairobi. Yeah. And congratulations, the show looks great, but the drama, oh my goodness. All right, guys, let's just take a look at Eugene's work.
We are back with a bang, Nairobi!
You would make a very good pastor's wife.
Pastor's wife?
Yes. I'm a free woman.
Why is it that you and the ladies have to beef all the time?
I'm done with the drama.
How do you think I should behave around these ladies?
I script my story.
Championess. I'm a search executive and I'm also a bodybuilding sponsored athlete.
You need to tell me about when you're having our baby.
I actually froze my eggs.
Picky.
I'm a walking billboard. I don't look for trouble, but when you bring it, I receive it.
Are you a mistress or not a mistress?
Yo.
Round 1, let's go! Watch out.
Where that show, I'm telling you, this is season 2.
Season 2.
So guys, I mean, it's just so beautiful to see, like from that show that was not picked for 3 years, Young Rich. Yeah. Now this is your work right now.
This is our work right now.
My goodness, and you work with a fantastic team, by the way. We worked with them. So at what point did you get to do all these big reality shows from, I don't want to call it small, but this, startup pack to now doing something like this, Real Housewives?
I think it's just been gradual over the years because since 2013, we've pretty much just done one show after another.
Okay.
Reinvested the money back into a second show called Get in the Kitchen. Then we did Story Yangu, where we profile people who've contributed greatly to the country.
Yes.
Then we did a show called Get in the Kitchen that used to poke fun at patriarchy.
Uh-huh.
So you know how guys don't like to cook, the wives and girlfriends will nominate them.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of celebrities.
Oh, that
on
sounds
there.
fun.
Yeah, it's a very, very fun show.
Yeah.
We had quite a bunch of famous guys then, so you can see Akina Njugusha, Akina Abel when they were much younger.
Oh, serious?
And then just, kept at it this way, this way. And over the years, as the industry, as the television industry grew, we just had more experience. The team became better at doing what we do. And then, of course, now we entered the era of celebrity reality shows.
Yes.
And the first one we did was Bing Bahati.
Yeah, he was here the other day and he talked about you guys. He talked about you guys.
Yeah.
You guys did that first show.
It was the first celebrity reality show on Kenyan TV, on NTV back then. And that went on well. That one went on well. Then we did Soul Family with Sauti Soul.
Yes.
Then we did You with Kyalo
Imagine,
Culture.
yeah, we have actually, I don't know if we can cue the, I don't know, we can cue another piece of your work.
Yeah.
We can actually cue Kyalo Culture. Let's see just what you did for our show, for me and my sisters.
Yeah.
It feels amazing to be back. This is Masikialo rediscovered. There's a hole. Yes. They said it's cool. They say no, don't. I had a little accident. My jeans just ripped open. I guess there's too much goodness. I've invited a friend.
Is he rich? There's a new Betty in town, Boulder. We kind of like are washing our hands with champagne. I feel so rich.
I just feel like a new person. I'm so excited.
But I want to get pregnant.
And this is just the beginning of so many more things. Congrats! It's vibrant. It's the kind of launch that Betty does, but it looks like a mini wedding, to be honest.
I must see. What is that dress? Honestly, it was like a bed sheet. You mentioned 2 times that you're drunk and you're embarrassed.
No,
and
because those were actual...
We're not fighting. Not physical, but mental. If I'm not comfortable with you bringing a gift to my house...
It feels amazing to be back. This is Masikialo rediscovered. There's a hole. Yes. They said it's cool. They say no, don't. I had a little accident. My jeans just ripped open. I guess there's too much goodness.
Those were actual... We're not fighting. Not physical, but mental. If I'm not comfortable with you bringing a gift to my house... It is so cringe watching myself. Oh my goodness. But that was also a really good production. We did 2 seasons.
Yes.
We're seeing if another one is actually going to come. So everything keeps, just growing. We also have Foods of Kenya. Yeah. We can also just see that. I want everybody to just see like the kind of productions that we're talking about.
We're here at Mwete Gwalata. This area is called Sagala. From Nyamira County in Taita Taveta County. It's gonna be epic.
Kenya is God's piece of earth filled with beautiful, welcoming people.
We love Food of Kenya.
A rich, diverse culture and different tastes in food.
Let's go Jinja!
Ndio tulikuwa tunakula na ugali. Natoa na mnaimba.
Ni mzuri nyama.
Nyama.
Wakati wa kiangazi hakuna mboga, wanaenda kuwinda hiyo.
This looks like a cow, doesn't it?
Join on this culinary journey as we bring you the best of
song, dance, smoke, and of course, food.
Foods of Kenya. Follow up on that program.
Mnapenda sana.
Every time.
Foods of Kenya.
Hiyo inashinda nyama.
That is so interesting. Yeah. I mean, we love that show. We used to watch it at home a lot. So what does it take to come up with a production like that? Obviously, it looks very expensive.
Yeah.
So how do you do it?
So we always start with the audience in mind, I think, for us. We look at what people care about. The general rule for television is people want to see themselves. So Foods of Kenya is one of the shows that's mostly celebrated. Moniki is a national icon, and everywhere we go, almost everybody who meets him tells him the same thing. You went to my village. Food, those are my people. So when people see them, when people see themselves reflected on the screen, they care for that. Then of course there's the general human interests, which is money, sex, love. So you also try and sort of tick all those boxes. You sort of observe global trends. With the reality shows, it's a very, very interesting element. It's all about voyeurism. People want to look into what other people's lives look like, who are they in love with, what are they eating, what are their houses. So that element of voyeurism, if you feed it, it grows well. So those are sort of the formulas that we try and follow as we are creating the shows.
And so about funding, like how do you, where do you get the money to do all these things and still have a big team? Because I know the team that you work with, I mean, your office is full. You're giving so many young people jobs, which is a good thing. But then how do you fund all that?
So far, our model has been self-funded. A lot of these shows, we sell them to the TV station, so they pay us to actually air them. But as time is going along, the TV model is changing. Because of digital, the growth of digital, there's not, that model isn't existent much anymore. But we've always been dependent on that. Now we are trying to explore new things, merchandising, as you know, what we're doing together.
Yes, with our makeup brand and Apologetic.
And the idea is to invest in things like this until they grow to a level where they pay for the content. We are pioneers in a sense, so it takes a while to crack the market. Because our thinking is that as content becomes cheaper and cheaper, it will not become about selling the content, but what the content can sell.
Exactly.
So far we've been self-funded, but the idea is to find new avenues of generating revenue from the same content.
Okay. Just somebody at home, just looking from where you've come from, do you think that there are actually opportunities for the many students who are still, studying, camera work, for different productions? They want to be a Eugene. Do you think there's still that space, there's opportunities still for these kids?
Very much so, very much so. If you look at the Western world now, a lot of young men and women are creating immense wealth using media. But it's new media. It's not our old model of television and linear. If you look at the Paul brothers, for instance, they've succeeded widely with merchandising and creating their own audiences on social media platforms. If you look at people like Mr. Beast on streaming services, the most followed YouTuber in the world, again, making a ton of money from merchandising. The idea is you do the work of capturing the audience, and then you find a way of monetizing from that audience. So for anybody looking to get into that same industry now, is to think digital first. Because again, our model is different, is aged.
Yes.
I don't think it's dying. It's going to be there for a while. But
I hope so. We need these jobs.
But it's not the way of the future.
Yes. And does that concern you, knowing that, the digital space has, has blown up and everybody's on phone and maybe people will not find time to come sit down and watch a show like, Foods of Kenya?
It does concern us. I think the thing is we always knew there was going to be a decline, but very few people in the current media knew that it was going to be this fast.
Okay.
And a lot of it was aggravated by COVID.
Yes.
Because you had, we thought you had another decade until things, and then COVID happens and everything is disrupted and everybody's at home and TikTok sort of blows out. All these content creators start to make carrot cake and that becomes...
Oh my goodness, There's everything
and it spirals. So I think nobody anticipated how fast the decline would be. And a lot of it has to do with influencer marketing also. Because, traditional media depended on advertising. And advertising now is so fragmented. So it's on the social media platforms, it's with influencers. And the fact that it's more scientific and measurable on that side, the fact that you have individual content creators who have more following than the media houses like yourself.
Well, I work for TV7, so we add my followers and their followers,
So it's a huge dramatic shift. So we didn't think it will come that fast. We've pivoted as well. I mean, we've invested a bit on the digital side. We have a channel called Control Z, which is our channel target, very edgy, very new. And how that came about is we put a bunch of young people in a room and pretty much let them run around with it and figure it out. And they've created this page that's very very much in their language.
Yes.
We're looking to do a bit more on that front in terms of digital. You know, there's no fighting change.
Yes,
you either align and survive, or you fight it and die.
Exactly. All right, so as we wind up, Eugene, so what's next for you? I mean, it seems like you've done literally everything. What's remaining for you? And also something very important, I know that you work with a really big team of young people, the Gen Zs, you know. How important is it that you keep that team together? Because I know you guys are very close. You have these parties all the time. It's so cool to work for you. So how do you do that as well?
I don't know how cool it is to work for you. I hope that's the case.
Well,
but the thing about our work is, you know, we are guided by a document called the DNR Spirit, which sort of guides how we work together. But I find that people also want to work in an environment where they're challenged, where there's new projects come in every now and then.
Yes.
And we try to be that. And even as we go into the future, we're trying to be pioneers in our field to try and create systems that will create a company that lives beyond us.
Yes.
Because we're in a very shaky, media is very, very uncertain right now. So the trick for us is, can we build structures that that can create new business models that allow us to survive beyond these dramatic changes. As for the Gen Z, you know, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of my my team members were at the protest.
Yes.
Yeah,
I bet they were. I bet they were.
We're discussing it this morning.
Okay.
And you know, it's a generation that really can't be ignored. I have a theory, I don't know how correct it is, that you know, part of what we're seeing now is as a result of generational frustration.
Yes.
So it started as you know, we were colonized 61 years ago or more, and you know, there's several kinds of colonization.
Yes.
And the ones we got was settlement kind. So the Wazungus actually lived here.
Came here.
And you know, we were very subjugated. So over time, because of that oppression, you become very docile. And that's what our grandparents were. You know, Metulia, they're good Christians. I'm just going to do my part and love my neighbor, and let's see where the leaders take us.
Yes, yes.
Then 30 years after that, it was clear that they hadn't done very well. So then you had the 1992 unrest for multipartyism.
Yes, yes.
And there was a generation that rose up and made it.
Yeah.
And then we sort of like coasted along and hoped for the best, because everybody is patient and they're docile, hoping that the government will do the right thing. Then you had, now it's been another 30 years.
Yes.
And these young guys are looking back and seeing that grandparents didn't do very well.
Yes.
Their parents didn't seem to do very well.
Yes.
And they're looking at this being docile and seeing that perhaps being docile only leads to more oppression, which of taxation is a part of. But the difference between them and us and maybe those other generations is, first of all, they have the tools to communicate with each other.
Absolutely.
When you speak about Singapore, they can go quickly and see that Singaporeans are not living too badly.
Then they
have TikTok and they have Instagram.
Vibrant.
They are vibrant. They have information and they have the tools, and they are much more fearless than we are.
Extremely fearless.
So I'm actually quite excited to be led by them. I don't know if you've seen. They're writing to celebrities, we show up, we're cancelling you.
Absolutely,
I got some messages about what I'm expected to do on Twitter. So they wrote to me about I should be keeping the pictures and the videos so I can make a documentary about what they're doing.
Okay.
It's amazing, and it's like fresh of breath air. So we're rooting for it.
Let's see how it goes. Absolutely. It's good to see that they have a voice.
Yeah.
All right. So, Eugene, thank you so much for coming on board and coming on the show. And we wish you all the best. The next shows that are coming. And keep going. And we're going to wait for that documentary that they're talking about.
Yeah, we actually have a show coming up on the 9th.
Okay.
We have a stand-up comedy show called Hot Seat. We're the first one. We are roasting Terence Creative at Sarit Center on the 9th.
Okay.
And we'll have a series of those coming up.
I'll come. Yeah. But just don't ask me to come get roasted. I have content.
Yes.
I have content. All right, Eugene, thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a short commercial break, but we're coming back with our guest anchors from Mount Kenya University. Thank you.
The clock.
Yes, that's good.
kiongozi ana hadithi yake ya kipekee.
Wazazi wangu walikuwa bit strict kwa sababu mamangu mwenyewe, mimi kutoka kuzaliwa sijailala nje.
The white small one, huyo ana sniff gunpowder na risasi na bomb. Alafu huyo mwingine ni ridgeback ana sniff simba.
Even the employees knows that. So when in the boardroom is the chairman, the CEO, and the rest of.
What point are you a wife?
The minute you get to that inside that door, you become now the wife.
Na kila maamuzi wanayoyafanya hufichua mengi kuhusu utu wao na uongozi wao.
We see God blessing us, and we now realize the power of giving also has to be rewarded back.
Kupitia kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi, tunakuletea mahojiano ya kusisimua na uchambuzi wa kina kuhusu viongozi wetu.
Pick your core business as the bigger stones. Put them in your diary first. Give priority the bigger things.
Usikose kila Alhamis saa 1:30 jioni.
In a world where challenges are as common as opportunities, there are those who dare to defy the odds. They are the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship isn't just about starting a business, it's about embracing uncertainty, pushing boundaries, and turning dreams into reality.
Hata mbao ni pesa ya kusave. Wallahi. Mbao mwaka ni pesa nyingi sana.
As long as you're earning something, there's always that opportunity to save. And you start with where you are.
The way we run the business is in a very unforgiving way, where every team member has to bring out their best.
So, to all the dreamers, innovators, and risk takers out there, remember, being an entrepreneur isn't just a job, it's a way of life. Join the journey. Become an entrepreneur. The Grind, Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
All right, and welcome back to This Friday with me, Bessie Chalo. Thank you so much for keeping it TV47. And I hope you enjoyed that interview with Eugene Mbugua. Listen up. It's time now for some two beautiful young people, lady and a gentleman from Mount Kenya University, to have a try, you know, in reading the news. So yesterday, Cape Media introduced a talent academy, and you know, I was there and I was rooting for everybody to come in studio, but you know, we ended up with the best. These guys were you got so much love. Yvette and Munene.
Thank you so much.
You know, sauti itoke kidogo.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. How come people were rooting for you to come on the show like that? Everybody in the hall was just screaming.
I think it's because, not because we were the best, but because we carry a uniqueness with us.
Okay.
An aura that doesn't exist among the others who try, they can
Hey, tell me about it. I love that. Hey, Gen Z man. Nene, why do you think they picked you to come on the show?
Okay, personally, I think it's because we did our best, and that's why we received so much love from our fellow students.
Yes. Where was Celebuko MKU?
No. Just a normal random student.
Random? Don't call yourself random. Listen to the way you Iveta is just me. But it's good to have you guys. So you have been able to, you can see the autocue properly?
Yes.
All right. First of all, let me ask you, do you want to do this thing? Would you want to be, you know, journalists, you know, news anchors?
Yes, personally, I'm a journalism student.
Okay.
I am a first-year student, and it's something I want to do when I finish school.
Okay.
I want to become like you. And
oh, that's so sweet. Come on. And, I'm sure you can be better than me.
Yes, people like you in the industry.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Yvette, you're not studying journalism.
Yes. I'm not studying journalism. And it's because I just realized this potential when I was in my second year.
Okay.
Second semester.
What were you studying?
I was pursuing public administration. We are more like politicians.
So from that, you decided, you know what, I want to do this journalism thing. All right, let's have a try tonight. And let me give you the opportunity. So you guys, so you know how it happens when you're reading like two anchors. So you see, you're going to maybe, Munene, you can start. And then where there's a full stop, you stop, and then she takes over. And then another full stop then. Okay, I'm giving out our secrets, how we do this thing. All right, just introduce yourself and take it away. All right?
Yeah, sure.
Go for it. No nerves, just go for it. Have fun.
Good evening. My name is Munene John. You're watching This Friday with Betty. Let's get you informed. Now, the youth in Africa have been encouraged to work together and improve business opportunities, thus helping economic growth.
Pan-Africanism, they yourself has supported the idea of the youth trading online while asking the governments to ensure they support youth projects instead of going against them.
He has further supported the youth who are on the streets protesting against the passing of the finance bill, saying Kenyans are overtaxed.
CGSS, the youth have been asked to invest in...
Yeah, you say. Okay, great. You've gone to this.
Economic apartheid. That is really what is holding Africa back. When you consider that pan-continental European trade is at 70%, Asia's 60%, America's 45%, South America's 30%. But if you look on Google, Africa only trades 13% with itself, which seems really low, but the number is actually much, much lower than that if you consider purely pan-African-owned companies. The reason some businesses still ask for cryptocurrency and they might be a scam like an MLM is because it's a very effective form of payment that doesn't have borders or permission. So you can't blame the tool for being too effective and scammers wanting to utilize it. What needs to happen is that the people need to get educated and understand that cryptocurrency is just not just a speculative asset, but it can be used as a means of exchange to solve the biggest problem we have, which is economic apartheid.
Okay, guys, I think they did an absolute good job. You guys, like, you've been doing this for, for some time.
Yeah.
I mean, how was the experience? You think you can nail it? Because this is actually first year and you're already doing so well.
Yeah, thank you. The experience was nice, and I'd like to have such experiences as the future goes on.
Yeah. How was it, Yvette, for you?
The experience was really great. And I'm grateful to TV47 for this opportunity, because it's like you're equipping us, mentoring us. Yeah, I'm really grateful.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so nice to have you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see if you guys can be coming to the studio when I'm doing the show.
Thank you so much.
Just to see the technicalities.
Yes.
But you guys did great. Thank you so much for coming. All right, guys, that is Munene and Yvette, our guest anchors for today, all the way from Mount Kenya University. Like I mentioned, Cape Media, launched the Talent Academy yesterday, and of course, this is going to make sure that more talents out there are seen, just like this one. All right. So we now take Willis, the Word Master, coming right up. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, so it's now time for Willis, the Word Master for Which is Which. Willis, good evening. How are you doing tonight from Kisii County?
Betty, I'm fine, but let me start by giving you a pat on the back, because when you inspire such young people, you are inspiring growth in any given part or space.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. And Willis, you actually heard that they actually did a good job and it was their first time to do it. So we're going to be giving many people opportunities. And actually, if you want to be a guest anchor, all you need is just to tweet me on X, or just talk to us on social media. We are all over the place, and you can be here on this hot seat. All right, so Willis, let's begin with our class session tonight. And we have, of course, our word that you showed us when we were starting the bulletin. But let's start with my words. So let me spell the first one out. Hyena. Tell us, how do we go about that?
Betty, many people innocently say hyena. Hyena for that animal, no. You say hyena. Hyena, not hyena.
Okay, hyena. So you actually pronounce the Y, so hyena.
Hyena.
Okay, interesting, Willis. Moving on to the second one, do we say remuneration or do we say remuneration? Or any other pronunciation?
Oh, Betty, this is a tricky word because many people in writing and pronunciation, many people use the wrong word.
Okay.
You may realize that many people talk about remuneration.
Yes.
Remuneration, no.
Okay.
You have remuneration, not remuneration.
Okay, got you, Willis. Understood. Yes. Moving on to this other one, do we say, okay, let me actually just spell it out because I'm not sure about the pronunciation. So it's Tenure. How do we go about this word?
All the time that somebody spends, being in charge and all that.
Exactly.
So you say tenure. Tenure, no. Tenure, no. You say tenure.
Tenure. Okay, that's a surprise. I would say tenure, but
yes.
So it's tenure. You're only surprised, Willis.
Tenure.
Okay, tenure it is.
Yes.
Moving on to this other one, Willis. EULOGY. How do we go about that one?
Betty, what we should avoid is eulogy. Eulogy does not exist in English. You say eulogy. Eulogy. So that intrusive O should be avoided. That O before L does not exist. You have EULOGY and
yes.
You say eulogy.
Okay, another surprise. Eulogy. Okay, Willis. I guess all of us have been pronouncing it wrong, you Willis. And I also heard you saying exists. So do we say exist or exist?
You say exist. That E, there is something called vowel transmutation. Certain vowel letters have different sounds, but you can have letter E, just like in the word enjoy. Enjoy. We have enjoy, what we see as the spelling, but it's enjoy. We have deny. We don't say deny.
Yes.
Deny. Deliver. So it's an E as a letter, but the sound value is E. What we call the short sound E.
Okay. I didn't know that, honestly. I was also saying exist. So from today, we know it exists.
It happens. It happens.
Interesting, Willis. You always have these surprises. Moving on to this other one. Do we say trigonometry or any other pronunciation? Is that the correct word?
That is pronounced the way you have pronounced it, Betty.
Okay.
And Betty, you see, today you've heard Munene giving you some pat on the back before Willis did it because of what you are. Out here, people really love the way you do the things you do on the screen. That is, when you present news, it's because of that, that ability to pronounce words well, the flow, and of course, being on the TV, that is currently the talk of almost every place. That is TV 47.
Wow, Willis, thank you so much for that compliment. I mean, you're always giving me these compliments. I really appreciate it, Willis. Okay, so let's move on to this other one. Do we say affidavit or do we say affidavit?
That's a tricky one. But I know lawyers who really follow this program or this segment. Like one is Jesse Kihoro, if I've not got the name wrongly.
Yes.
It's Jesse Kihoro, I think of Kiambu, something like that, Julia. Now, Many people will agree with me, or
Yes.
many lawyers will agree with me that what we commonly hear as we grow up, even
Yes.
when they are learning,
Yes.
it's affidavit. But Betty, this word is pronounced as affidavit. Affidavit. Just like we have Davis. Do we say Davis? It's Davis.
Davis.
David, not
Okay.
David.
Okay.
So that A takes its name A in that word. Affidavit.
Affidavit.
David, not David.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm telling you, I've had people saying affidavit all the time. So it's actually affidavit. Is that right? Affidavit.
As I always say, it happens, you
Yes.
say affidavit. But when we
Okay.
grow up, we commonly hear affidavit around us. So that is why, Betty, I always say
Yes.
we innocently mispronounce certain words because we don't have proper or clear guidance on which is which. And that, luckily enough, now
That's
we can
true.
have it on this very segment.
Okay, Willis, thank you for that. Moving on to this other one, do we say trauma or any other word? Or trauma?
You can say trauma,
Yes.
trauma. You can also say trauma. Now, one thing I want to bring, which is a bit clear for some people, and maybe other people are not aware of this.
Yes.
But we have what we call the British Standard English.
Yeah.
And then we have American English. In most cases, the standard pronunciations under what we call RP, that is received pronunciation,
Yes.
we say trauma, trauma. But trauma is also acceptable, especially for those who are inclined to the American English. Trauma or trauma.
Trauma. Okay, Willis, that is a surprise.
Yes.
Trauma. Okay, got you, Willis. Moving on to the last word from me. This word, xenophobia, or how else do we pronounce that one? Xeno?
Yes.
Or how do we go
Betty,
about
that is
it?
the pronunciation. You just say xenophobia, not xenophobia. You say xenophobia, that X. You see, I talked about vowels taking different sounds. Also, consonant letters can take different sounds in English, Betty. So this is an X, but you pronounce it as the voiced sound Z.
Okay.
Xenophobia. You get that?
Xenophobia.
You've got it?
Yes, got it, Willis, got it.
Great. Now, Betty, there is something you said that is your last one. But Betty, do you realize that many people, especially in different parliaments in our continent, that is Africa and beyond,
Yes.
when people talk about bill, the bill, many people say bill, bill, as if that word has the long sound E. Finance, bill. Bill, no. You say bill, bill, the bill. Just like pill, you don't say peel. Peel is a different thing.
Yes.
Peel is what we have in terms of the short sound E for
Yes.
ink. Clear? Then we also say parliament, not parliament. Parliament. That I is silent, like in the word friend. You don't say friend. You say friend,
Friend.
parliament,
Yes.
without saying lia. La. That is the way. And then lastly, we say honorable. Honorable. Somebody asked about those three words, referring to parliamentary discussions or
Yes.
debates and all that, Betty. So I felt we should also help them on this very segment. So you say bill, parliament, and you also say honorable, not honorable, so and so. Honorable because H is silent. So whoever sent that question from Tanzania, I hope now you are clear. Now we go to those people who have sent in words, and we begin with Brian Odeo of Eldoret. You say rendezvous or rendezvous. You can also say rendezvous, but don't say rendezvous. Avoid that. Lieutenant, that is in British English. Lieutenant, but then American, lieutenant. Then you have your third word, that is isthmus. Isthmus, not isthmus. That T and H is not or are not pronounced. Then you have zucchini. Zucchini. Lastly, panacea. Then we have Bethwell Mwaura of London in the UK. Now Bethwell, you say sour, sour milk. Savor, not sava. Devour, not devour and not devour. Detour, detour, to detour, that verb. Then lastly, valor. Then we go to Bravo Makori of St. Francis Menyinkwa Primary School and Dorcas. you say real, real. And the next word, really. Alice K. Mabanga of Kampala, Uganda, you say legacy, legacy, not legacy, legacy. John Muli of St. Charles, Luanga, Kitui. The first word, memoir, memoir, not memoir, memoir. Second, pageant, pageant, not pageant. Your last word, sciatica, sciatica, not sciatica, sciatica. So get it right. We have Jeffrey, if you like, Geoffrey, which we use locally. Jeffrey Odeng of Delta Kisi, you say fatuous, fatuous, and niche. To curve a niche, you can also say niche. So those alternatives are acceptable in standard English. Then we have Ezekiel Juma, you say debut, debut or debut, but don't say debut. Debut, debut, no, not in standard English. Keith Ramirez of Mombasa, you say infinite, infinite, then finite, finite. Your last one, definition, definition. Betty, have you heard some people saying definition from the verb define? Definition.
Yes. I've
the
heard
definition. It happens. And as I always say, nobody in this world, not even Willis or the native speakers of English, can be spotless. So we carry on. Simon Okoth of Bondo, you say purpose, purpose. Don't say purpose, no, purpose. Isaac Karaoke or Karaoke of Nakuru, you say Wednesday, Wednesday. Yusuf Galmogle, you say archetypal, but you can also say archetypal. Archetypal, but the best pronunciation for that word, when it's that adjective, you say archetypal. You get that? Then you say liaison, not liaison. Lastly, pronunciation. I know this one, Betty will love it. Pronunciation, not pronunciation. Betty, you remember that?
I remember that. Really, it's one of the first words we ever dealt with.
Dhika icon, yes, one of the first words that we dealt with when we started our journey, if you can remember, Betty.
Yes.
Now, somebody also told me to tell you something, that one great thing about you, you are always honest about what you don't know well. And that is what makes a learner to become better. Now, Dhika icon, you say vacuum, vacuum. But remember that the standard pronunciation of that word is vacuum. It might be a surprise to many people. Vacuum, vacuum, vacuum. Alphonse Oremo of Nairobi and Lillian Momanyi of Kisii. Betty, there is a word here. Entrepreneur, no, not in English. We don't have entrepreneur that we commonly hear around us. It's entrepreneur or entrepreneur. Then you can also say entrepreneur. So we don't have entrepreneur. That is very common locally. Opio Morio 1, axiom, aphorism. Edith Simi of Kakamega, alumnus. Alumnus is the singular form. Then you have alumni. What I may share with our dear viewers, don't call yourself as an individual. Don't say, I am an alumni of such and such institution. No. Alumni is the plural, and it's for two or more people. Just like, avoid saying, my names are, if you are an individual. Just say, my name is, even if you have 40 words in your name. Clear, viewers? That is great. Otherwise, Betty, let's go straight to our surprise word for tonight.
Yes.
And can you take a look, Betty?
Yes.
This describes you and many other great brothers and sisters who really make us informed, the educators, the entertainers, but people always mispronounce this word for such brothers and sisters. Many people innocently say journalist. Journalist. Can I see the journalist? Can you call me the journalists? That jaw is wrong. You say ja. Ja. If you can take the phonetic transcription, dear viewer, you can see ja. Ja. A journalist. Can you say it? Avoid saying journalist. It's ja. Journalist. Just like you say, I am going for a journey. Journey. After journalist, journey. You can see the part where I have underlined. Journey. Do we say I'm going for or I'm going for a journey? No. Journey.
journalist.
Okay.
Journal, not a journal. And then we have journal. So these are things you can only get when you watch This Friday with Betty, and the segment is Which is Which. Now, Betty,
yes.
do you have any person who has sent in any word that is English? Not Gujarati. English.
Not Gujarati.
Any word.
Well, actually, there's that first one.
Otherwise, then, Betty, let me tell our viewers that they can always reach us by sending any question to me at any time, so long as the word is English. You can use my X handle, that is at Willis Ochieng1. At Willis Ochieng1, the word will reach me. You can also use at Betty M. Kialo. It will reach her, and she will share with me. You can also send your word to at TV47 News, and everything will always be taken care of. So long as you send in any word that is English, I'll give you the standard pronunciation, and if you want, I'll also give you the regional or the non-standard pronunciation. Otherwise, Betty, do you have anything for me?
Willis, thank you so much. Those are really serious surprises. Entrepreneur. I think we've been saying that word so wrong. So tonight we've had so many surprises.
Yes, it happens, Betty.
Yes.
It happens.
Got you,
It
Willis.
happens. Whoever you are, that is how I always tell people that when it comes to standard pronunciations, you have to do a lot of research. And when you come to matters of phonology, that is the sound system of a language, you come to orthography, that is the spelling system of a language, then you come to phonetics, which refers to the sounds or the speech sounds and the way they are produced. Then you'll ensure that you put them together in your brain or your mind and your head, then the mouth will give out the right pronunciation, Betty.
Okay, Willis, thank you so much. Really appreciate all the lessons tonight. We just need to go back to the first word, Willis, because we have a clip as we wind up the show for the people who on the streets pronounce this word. Let's just take a look at that and then we come back.
Hili neno linasema jaufa. Hiyo ni kwa Kiingereza. Maana yake ni yule driver ambaye ameajiriwa kubeba wadosi.
Unasema neno chafua. Chafua ni neno ambalo la kuchafua. Ama chafua ni kuchafua. Yaani kuharibu mazingira. Chafua.
Ni chafya, sio chafya. Ni chafya. Chafya. Ama chafua. Chafya iko na maana mingi. Kuna kuchafua, ya pili kuna chafa ile ya tandboy ya gavi, na kuna chafa ya kusneak. Unamachua, una sneak, ndio chafya.
Okay, kulingana na mimi ile neno chafya ni kusneeze. Ile kuchafya ile kusneeze. Fie, hiyo ndio maana neno chafya.
Hii neno linasomwa chafya. Ama chafya. Ama chafya.
Ukisoma hii neno inamaanisha chafya. Shofa. Hiyo ni shofa.
Inatamkwa kama chofa.
Hiyo ni chofa. Ama ni nini hiyo?
Wacha tu. Chafua tu hiyo. Kali, maneno kali. Oh my goodness, Willis. Talk to us about this deadly word.
Well, Betty, we are testing our tongues. That is, people are testing their pronunciation abilities, and in some way, people get to learn that not everyone can pronounce a word correctly, but it's also a way of learning. It's not the case of getting it right, but it's a way of learning, because any human being in this world can sometimes get something wrong. But now, this word, we have had chafua. You hear of chofa, chaufa, and so many other pronunciations, even in serious communication. But Betty, this word for the driver of an important person, you say chauffeur, a chauffeur. It's a word that is from French when you talk of matters of etymology. So it's from French, you say chauffeur, chauffeur, not chauffeur, not chauffeur, not chufa, and any other pronunciation. Chauffeur. Can you say it, Betty?
Chauffeur.
There you are, Betty. And I think that wraps it up. And from my end, that is Betty.
Okay, thank you so much. Willis, the Wordmaster, joining us live and direct from Kisii County. He does such a good job every Friday here on this Friday. And we just love to have him on the show. Well. So Willis winds the show for us, on a high, and really appreciate you guys watching the show. It has been fantastic. Thank you so much to Eugene Mbugua for gracing our show. And of course, to the two students who did a fantastic job. So we really say thank you for watching to you. And we'll see you again next week, God willing. Thank you so much and good night.